Okay, this is Orlando Wilson. What I want to talk about in this short video is something which should be a basic protocol, a basic procedure for anybody in the close protection business. And for a lot of guys and girls, it even runs over to when they're not working with clients. And that is, whenever you're in a restaurant, whenever you order food in a restaurant, always ask for your bill as soon as you order the food. Do not wait for the meal to be served, for you to eat the meal, to then get your check, then get the bill. Why? Because if you're working with a client, if the client's in a restaurant, you're in the restaurant as well, you might not be seated with a client. A lot of times you will not be seated with the client. You don't want to be in the restaurant, the client gets up to leave, and you've not paid the bill for your food. If you leave the restaurant without paying, you're going to get the staff chasing after you, they can call the police, it's theft, etc., etc. So always pay for your food as soon as you order it. The clients might not be paying for their food. They could be there as a guest, etc. So they don't have to worry about picking up the check, picking up the bill. You do. So a basic protocol, whenever you're in a restaurant, where always, as soon as you order your food, pay as soon as possible. Get that out the way. That way, you're free to leave. You're free to get up and walk out. If there's an emergency, if there's a problem, if the client leaves, there's no issues with one of the waiters chasing after you because you've not to pick up your check. These days, somewhere else which can be difficult, problematic, is coffee shops. And I'm talking the coffee shops which are self-service, like in the US, the Starbucks, etc. You get a client that goes into Starbucks. This is for if you're providing close protection. The client always makes sure, stand back and make sure, especially if you're providing protective surveillance, that the client is actually staying in the coffee shop. He's not going to just order his drink and walk out. This should have been worked out beforehand. You should know what they're doing, but a lot of times you don't, especially if you're providing protective surveillance. So you don't be stood in the queue, you don't want to make your order, or you're trying to make your order and the client picks up their drink and walks out the coffee shop. Always know what they're doing, whether they're staying, whether they're going, before you stand in the queue, before you place an order. From a surveillance, counter-surveillance perspective, if you're watching somebody, if you're following somebody, if you go into a coffee shop, again, if they go into a coffee shop, make sure you stand back a little bit, watch what they're doing, the person you're targeting, the person you're watching, and see if they're staying or if they're leaving. Why? You don't want to be in the queue, again, ordering a drink, paying for a drink, and they leave the coffee shop. You can lose your target. Again, it also looks funny if you order a drink, pay for a drink, the target gets up and leaves, and you leave the coffee shop without taking your drink with you. Again, if anybody's a little bit surveillance aware, they might pick up on that fact, which might compromise you. And if people are saying, well, why would you go into coffee shops to follow somebody, to watch somebody that's too close? Well, maybe you want to see what they're doing on their cell phone, hear what they're talking, see what they're doing on their smartphone, on their computer, hear who they're talking to on their phone, see who they're meeting with, etc. So even something as simple as going into a coffee shop can be problematic from the close protection perspective and from the surveillance, counter-surveillance perspectives. So have a think about what I've just said. Restaurants, general rule, always pay for your food as soon as it turns up. That's it. And think about if you got clients from the close protection, executive protections perspective that like to go into coffee shops, work out your protocols and SOPs for going into coffee shops. And from the surveillance, counter-surveillance perspective, think about what I said, and again, work out your protocols. Because again, it can be difficult from the surveillance point of view. Well, not difficult, you just need to understand things. And from the counter-surveillance perspective, you can use it to your advantage if you're trying to work out if people are following you, watching you, etc. So, I hope this little video gives you a few things to think about. In the meantime, follow me along on social media. There's going to be a lot more of these videos going up. We have an array of videos up already on YouTube, Instagram, and on our social media. Also an array of articles up on the Risk Inc. blog, my personal blog, Truth Only Has a Few Friends. And I have an array of books up on Amazon that talks about various aspects of the close protection, security business, kidnap and ransom, also crime fiction. And don't forget, we still provide, as we've always provided, in a range of security, protection, investigation services internationally. And we also offer now due to advances in technology, online virtual consultancy services. So if you have a problem, as long as you've got a smartphone, you can reach out to us, and we can help you, I'm not going to say solve your problems, and we can help you deal with your problems, manage your problems, and in the end, solve your problems. So feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. In the meantime, be good, stay safe, stay out of trouble, and always pay your bills as quick, always pay your restaurant bills, always pay bills in general as quickly as possible. That's good for your credit score.